So, Jake, I see you sitting there.
I
Sitting
am.
there on your throne of lies.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
See what you did
I
there.
just figured I'd intro it with a quote. Is
Uh,
that the exact quote, or did I mess it up?
no, I think you're pretty correct. I think it's
Like,
like
I
you
guess it
sit on
wasn't
a throne of
exact.
lies.
Yeah. You sit
But
on.
if we're gonna start with our favorite quotes, which
Mm-hmm.
is something we don't usually do, but we should maybe start doing.
That could be good.
I think my favorite quote from this one is, "Bye, buddy. Have fun finding your
Oh,
dad."
yeah.
From
I
the
say that
narwhal
all the
or
time.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just so like random and good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Hey, Zach, what movie are we
Mm-hmm.
talking about?
Oh, yeah. We should probably say that too. It's Elf. 2003's The Elf.
That's in
Starring.
2003?
Yeah, I know. It's almost 20 years old. It's
Wow.
going on 19 years now. Will Ferrell stars in
Oh,
it,
I feel
and
old.
Zoe Deschanel. I believe I pronounced that correctly. I
I
think I
think you
said it two
did.
different ways before, but yeah, and yeah, it's a fun one. I just I don't know what we should dive into first. Oh, wait, never mind. Let me do hold up,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay, we're
Wait,
holding.
because I usually do the Rotten Tomatoes scores. So
That is true.
let's just do that, get that out of the way, and then we can move on to more serious stuff. What's your guess this week, Jake?
I'm gonna say audience is definitely gonna be higher than the critics. I feel like audience is gonna be like 89 to 90, and critics are gonna be in the low 80s, like 82.
85 for the critics.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you're way off on the audience.
Well,
79%.
really?
And it has over 250,000
Wow.
ratings too. So I don't know. A lot of crazy people out
I
there.
mean,
Maybe
that's
it.
a
I don't know. Did any parts of it not age well or something? Maybe, or I can't. I don't feel like it. It
no,
did.
I don't
For
think
me,
there's
it was
anything. Yeah, there was
pretty
nothing
good.
that stuck out to me. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
Is
here's what
comedy
would be my thought. Will Ferrell,
not always a fan favorite?
not always a fan
No.
favorite, but I mean, it's a Christmas movie. It's geared more towards kids, but when you see like a Will Ferrell name, you don't automatically think kids movie.
Mm-hmm.
So there were probably some older teenagers that went in thinking this is going to be, and I mean, it's not really a kids movie. It's a
Yeah.
family movie,
Yeah.
but I mean, that would be my guess.
I
Plus,
love
it's just
Buddy's.
silly, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's silly. It's fun. It has that Christmas magic feel, plus some down to earth human relationship type things with
Like,
the
yeah, like,
dad, and he's the love interest. And
right. Like the Santa Claus,
Mhm.
it's got the magical elements to it, but it's also grounded in reality.
It's built its own kind of world for Santa,
Yeah,
but it does have the more quintessential elves in the workshop
right.
kind of vibe, like what you would picture. But then they kind of make fun of the Keeblers and the
Yeah.
cobblers and the
Yeah,
yeah
they
in the
play into the
beginning.
whole world of it.
Yeah, so it's fun. John Favreau directed it, I
Yeah.
believe, if I'm recalling that
Of
correctly.
Iron Man and
Hmm.
Mandalorian and Swingers and also a couple episodes of Friends. That guy's done it all.
Hmm.
Maybe
Very
we'll have a John
lucrative.
Favreau month one of these
Oh, that could be
days.
good. There's quite a few things out there. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Let us know if you do want to see that. Audience,
Yeah.
listeners.
Hit us up on Instagram at Story Shack Pod.
Wow. It's okay.
Throwing in
We'll
promos
get,
in the middle now.
yeah, we'll get good with the sleazy plugs one day.
Yeah, one day.
It doesn't feel natural usually, but
No.
eventually it will, because we'll be sellouts. Boom, bang, done. All right, next podcast. Just kidding. We're not even started. How far are we? 5 minutes in.
5
Okay,
minutes.
so I'm just gonna start with something that I do like about it, which is Buddy's demeanor, because he acts like a child. He basically is a child, but it's that elf like charm.
Yeah.
He's caught between two worlds because he's really a human. He's trying to reach out, kind of find out where he came from, meet his dad he's never met before. Although he still has ties to the North Pole and his as an adoptive father.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a different term for that? Anyways,
I think so.
and I just like his character because it's fun. There's some obviously stupid stuff, overly silly maybe, but then he has the love interest for Jovi.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
Jovi.
weird name.
Yeah, they had to make it kind of a holiday type name.
Yeah.
But and then he bonds with the brother, his half brother, or even though everyone's kind of avoiding him at first, but then at least from the family, right? The mother maybe is a little more accepting of like, yeah, it's just kind of he can be here. And then the brother wants to ignore him, and then the snowball fight happens for that, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's kind of cool. So that changes. And I guess to fast forward to the end of the movie with that specific thing I'm talking about, he's connecting with these people slowly throughout, alienating some maybe more than others. Peter Dinklage's character for one, and the store manager, I think, too, right?
Yeah.
But then at the end is when his dad finally kind of accepts him for who he is, and then it ties into the believing in Santa thing too. So it's kind of cool because it's both like, I don't believe my son, but it's also because I don't believe in Santa. And then lo and behold, Santa's actually there. So,
which leads me into like my issue with, and I think I mentioned this for the Santa Claus, but my issue with these movies is, in these worlds, Santa is real. So how does that coincide with the real world, where there are people that don't believe in Santa, yet Santa has come to their house, left gifts, but they're still like, oh, I don't believe in Santa. Santa's not real. I don't have Christmas spirit. But then they kind of do it a little bit with like the engine,
it's like a real world solution kind of feel.
Yeah, I mean, well, the engine they have, I don't remember what it's called, the Clausometer or whatever.
Yeah.
That like collects the Christmas cheer. So they have that bit of it, but I don't know. I wish one movie would have an explanation as to like, oh, there's fairy dust that we put on the parents that make them think that they gave them the gifts or something, like past a certain age. Like, I wish the magic of it was more explained, and I know that takes
you want
away
a little bit more. Yeah,
I know that takes away the magic of the magic, but
when you're explaining stuff like the beginning of the elf, I mean, it's elf. It's titled Elf, so it's about this one elf part of the rest of the elves, but not really. And so they have to explain that, I guess, to kind of set the groundwork. But with explaining the Clausometer type thing, yeah, you'd think they could just sprinkle that in somewhere, because it could just be a one mention, one off kind of thing.
Yeah,
maybe we're approaching it too logically. Suspension of disbelief here.
Here's what I'll say.
Come on.
If I was in a Christmas movie, I would ask them like, oh, so if Santa exists, how come all of these parents continually get people gifts? And
and the cookies,
the proof?
I thought this time around, because we did have that conversation before the other day, was even in the beginning when Santa goes and eats the cookies at the orphanage, I'm like, they were nuns, right?
I think so.
Do they not go, that's weird, we usually come in and like, who would they, if they normally come in to eat the cookies to make the kids believe? All I saw there in that one room were babies, I think, pretty much, right? Wasn't it? So are they gonna look at, oh look, a cookie got bit? They're not gonna know.
No.
So they set them out knowing, maybe they know there is a Santa.
Maybe Santa only visits certain houses.
Looking at it wrong.
And parents get like a newsletter or something that like, hey, your house has been selected to be visited by Santa. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I wouldn't know anything about that. Zach, your thoughts? Any top secret messages you receive?
That would be interesting. Maybe you just do away with getting coal at all and only visits the nice ones. So then you're like waiting every year to know, hey, does my kid get an extra gift? Maybe Santa Claus's business is secretly subsidized by the government too. We could even go that deep.
There we go.
Yeah, see, we're writing our own movie here,
He's got a-
and then we could do the sprinkle the pixie dust for those that maybe would have gotten coal, but just so they don't feel bad about and then stop believing. You just trick them. You just drug them, basically.
Drug him into believing.
You just think that Santa came by, but I don't remember getting a gift. But it's okay. I feel okay.
That's the magic of Christmas.
The magic of Christmas.
A problem I had with it before that I don't have now. I've managed to see it enough times that logic has been able to fix this problem for me. She's taking a shower at the mall.
Yep.
And I don't feel like working in a mall would give you, like, it's weird to me that they have a shower for employees to use at the mall. It's not just like a random shower. But at the same time, I've now worked at places. I've worked at a hotel. I've worked at several offices that did have showers. So it kind of makes sense to me now. It's not as weird for me as an adult as it was when I was younger. Like, why is she taking a shower in the mall? I love their little duet through that, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's very cute.
It's
sweet.
cute.
Yeah.
And then my son loves the part where he runs into the lockers or whatever.
Yeah.
Thinks it's funny. Which it is. It helps break the tension of her yelling at him for being there. Yeah.
And yeah, how does I just don't understand. Like, you're a grown woman. You're in New York. Sure, you work as an elf in a toy store.
I'm with you. I'm following.
I just don't see, like, the child wonder. I'm trying to think of it again logically, which we've discussed cannot be used in Christmas.
Yeah, stop
movies.
using your brain here.
But like, I just don't see how their relationship works out with, like, them. I guess they don't really date. They go on a date. But
then don't they have a kid at the end?
They do have a kid at the end. Yeah. That's right.
They like get married. Basically.
Yeah, she moves to the North Pole.
Yeah, you speed up in time a little bit.
Like, what kind of person, adult, is attracted to a boyish elf?
What psychological things does she have? I see what you're getting at.
I mean, we're not saying that that's for everybody and that that's, you know, the case for everybody. It's just, I just don't understand how, because she goes from kind of like weirded out by him to being, I mean, I guess that's the point of romantic movies. Never mind. Just forget everything I just said. I don't know. I
think it's because he's different than other people.
Use that
especially,
that's true.
Isn't the stereotype in New York, it's just like everybody's mean to each other. So to have someone so completely opposite, she's like, that's weird. What's his play here?
Right.
But then just realizes he's genuinely like that.
Right.
Oh, he's nice.
Okay, that could be it.
But you are right. There could be an aspect of it. Like, I'm not trying to just I think that's what I get from the movie is what I just said. But there is something to say that I even mentioned that he's kind of childlike, but not really. Because he's obviously fully developed, not just physically, but technically, mentally. And so I don't want to talk badly about elves, but that is kind of the typical thing you would think for Santa's elf is to be jolly just like he is and love Christmas spirit and all that.
Playing my own devil's advocate, Buddy is nice. He's genuinely nice. It's not, a ploy to date somebody. It's not a ploy to get a job. He's genuinely curious and heartfelt and just wants to find his dad. So, okay, there are aspects of him that I could see being
it's good.
Attractive.
It's good that they show us the quick storybook beginning kind of thing, because it shows us how he learned the 3 rules or whatever it is, because then he repeats that later, so that comes back. Plus, this time around, I was totally thinking, I mean, it was always there that he's essentially indoctrinated into this, right? But that's all he knew growing up. So, his first encounter, I know it's silly, but he gets mauled by the raccoon. But he goes out there and he's like, oh, I'm like around these cartoon critters that are always, and I just give hugs and joy and singing loud for all to hear. And then he wants to hug this raccoon and gets mauled. So that's his first taste of reality in the big city.
Did you catch that setup and payoff with the singing loud for all? Or whatever?
Yeah, because then at the end they all have to sing. Yeah, I like that. It's nice. And then it wasn't just on. It was, and the great thing with that too is it wasn't Buddy doing it. It was Jovi, right?
Yeah.
Who initiated it, and then people start joining in. It's nice. It's a nice moment.
Yeah, his dad isn't
cheesy,
singing.
Yeah, his dad's not really singing.
Yeah. I like the news reporter that's getting hit on by the guy.
Yeah,
and
the way he does it too.
Yeah, I just think you're great.
It's just like not too strong, but really but pushing it a little.
Yeah.
It's like the way you hint to a boss that you want to raise, but you're not trying to actually say it.
Right. Yeah.
I think you're an amazing boss. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, again, my mind today is thinking logically. And when I watched it this last time, I wasn't a super big fan of the like cheesy Christmas stuff at the end with like everybody sing. But I mean, I get it. It's a Christmas movie. You've got to have those moments where, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked Santa. Santa was good. Ed Asner.
Yeah. Looks like a good Santa.
Looks like a good Santa. Like, not holly jolly.
Mm-hmm.
Seems a little more rough, but like nice. Like not your grandpa, but like your grandpa's friend who kind of gives you shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, but also he's nice. My grandpa had a friend that used to make fun of me all the time. And one day his wife came up to me and said, that just means he likes you. It's just him giving you a hard time. I was like, oh, that's confusing for me. I'm 4, so
that's confusing.
I've been told to be nice.
Yeah.
So yeah. But favorite line by far is
Hope you find your dad.
Hope you find your dad, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, I love the like claymation creatures. I think that's a nice like tie in to the old Christmas movies.
Yeah, that's true too. Because it's getting to be kind of an older movie,
yeah.
I forget, that like stuff like that was what I grew up on.
Yeah.
Because I would have been 14 when this came out, so I did see it, and it's been kind of a favorite I've to watch almost every year.
I didn't see it when it first came out. I think I waited a couple years until I finally like caved. But I mean, it's fun. It's heartfelt. It's a good Christmas movie. Is
this real? Jon Favreau? I know Jon Favreau was like the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But down on the wiki now, it says that he was the baby walrus and Mr. Narwhal and the Arctic puffin, but they're uncredited.
I could see that.
Things. That's funny. He did the narwhal. The line that we were just talking about. And then, this is interesting too. Can I give you a production note thing on here?
Lay it on me.
Under development that says screenwriter who credits include this film, right? Yeah. David Barenbaum initially wrote the script in 1993, but with Chris Farley and Jim Carrey being early candidates to play Buddy.
Huh.
It's interesting. So it was basically 10 years in the making.
Wow.
According to Favreau, the script was initially much darker and did not interest him. So there's some interesting things. It's always funny to kind of see how those how the movies kind of come about, because they evolve over time.
Yeah.
It's like you have a vision for something that's, I think, you tell me from your creative experience, and I don't have really a ton, but you have like a vision for something, and then the way you get there kind of could shift and turn the way that the final product comes out to be.
Absolutely.
But it still is something that's nice. So that's what I like about the collaborative process with different things, because so many hands are on it. It's expected. Whereas if it was just you doing one thing, you could almost like really just railroad it to get that one thing, but it may not be as good too if you don't let the process kind of just happen.
It feels more forced.
Yeah. There's a mix of having some control over it, and then also just understanding you probably won't control all the variables.
Right.
I think, like
Yeah.
play within that. That's like the playground you're on. Yeah. Very vague, a little profound, or not tangible. So.
I do have a lot of little favorite parts of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like the store manager. He's kind of grumpy at the beginning, but then when like after Buddy decorates and he's like trying to get everybody on his side of like, we all go down together kind of thing. If corporate comes in and
comics, yeah. So I know you gave your favorite line, so you're just trying to figure out favorite part you didn't like, or was I guess the cheesy Christmas stuff was
the cheesy
much
Christmas
for you?
stuff a little bit. I mean, I thought they did it well, but it feels like they start the story with the magical workshop, all this kind of Christmas stuff, and then they cut to a pretty bland real world, and the magic is just Buddy's attitude, and then at the very end it's like they remember, oh yeah, Christmas magic, and then everybody gets to get like, it just didn't feel,
get shoehorned at the end.
It just feel like they could have built it up a little bit more, or had Buddy have some sort of like magical something so that it made more sense that like this stuff was happening, if that makes any sense.
I think you're just trying to say you wish they kind of peppered it in there a little bit more throughout, so kind of like hint at it.
Yeah, because Santa shows up and crashes in Central Park or whatever, and then we're into how are we gonna save Santa, and it just feels kind of out of the blue. And I mean, he shows up out of the blue, but
he also gets because Buddy happens to be there, it works out.
Right.
Because he worked with Papa Elf.
Yeah. He knows how to fix
the sleigh stuff a little bit, so he could do that. Which is nice because he didn't feel like he fit in with the elves building other things, but he was able to at least do that.
Yeah.
So that was almost kind of a payoff too. But it does feel forced in that the only thing is, while you're explaining it, I was thinking, that actually almost makes more sense, because it's like he's in this world, then he's in this world. Then at the end, it kind of blends together, because on Christmas Eve, it's going to be when Santa's flying around anyway.
Yeah.
And then it kind of comes together, and then he's back at the North Pole.
Right.
So I was like, I almost kind of like that better, but then the part where he has to then just fix it, it's not like there was a known crisis of people not believing as much, and the Christmas cheer was down.
They could have had
if that was in there throughout for some reason, I think it just
cut away so disconnected. Of Santa, in the workshop, like, having trouble with the clausometer. I guess people aren't believing as much.
Yeah, I could see that being there. I don't know if I would like that better or not, because it would almost pull me out of it too much.
They could have even had a part with. Yeah, because it would have been weird and out of place to just have a random cutaway with Santa. But they could have had, because I think Papa Elf, ridiculous, having a serious conversation, but the character's name is Papa Elf.
Yeah.
If they could have had Papa Elf, maybe explain a little bit more, like, I had to create this. People aren't believing as much. It runs a little rough sometimes. And I mean, I guess they kind of did that, but they could have expanded on it a little bit more and given us that. That would have been a good setup to like, it's going to crash later kind of thing. This baby saved him a couple times before, and luckily, people believed enough, a throwaway line or something like that.
Or maybe he could have been given a handheld device that tells him. I don't know why, though, that you'd have to come up with a reason why Buddy would specifically need to know.
Right.
Christmas cheer for Santa when Christmas is coming, or if they did because he kind of just set off. Maybe it was you should come back for Christmas, like, or when there was he's coming back at a certain time for any reason.
Right.
So there could have been like a time frame so that we were expecting him to go back, and then I don't know. It just seemed like it was hey, I'm gonna go find my dad, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
He had to do all that traveling through the gumdrop forest and stuff.
Right.
Would he make it back the other way, or maybe that's what it is. Hey, I'll give you a little piece of magic to get home, but you only get the one to come back.
Right.
And then so in that, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, I think they could have just peppered in a little bit more, and it would have been all the better. But I mean, it's not terrible. I still like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the audience score was so low, though.
I know.
Especially when I was just looking at the other movies we're gonna.
Hey, it was a different time.
Next.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
18 years ago.
18, almost 19.
Jeez.
Crazy. Feels like a lifetime.
Hey,
I'll be saying that in 20 years from now, too. But,
hold up.
Yeah.
When was Elf released? What was the release date?
It was 2003.
No, I mean,
Or
like the date.
The...
Was it released around Christmas time? I'd like to think that it is, but...
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
November 7th, yeah.
So a little early, but I mean, I guess people wouldn't immediately go in 2003 to the website and start giving it bad ratings.
Oh, yeah, I see. Grossing, it was 33 million budget. Box office was 223 million. That's box office, right? That's just theaters?
Yeah.
That doesn't include other things, right? Okay. Yeah. But so what do you think about the relationship with his dad? Since he's on the naughty list, maybe this can be the last thing that we discuss, because there's the relationship dynamic plus how the dad is with his wife and other kid.
Right.
And yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's an interesting point because, I mean, technically, his dad being on the naughty list and the real world is his home. He was adopted to the North Pole. Like, he snuck aboard the sleigh and went up there. It almost feels like a nature versus nurture kind of thing. If Buddy had stayed and grew up with his dad, he'd probably be in the same situation that Michael's in, with his dad just constantly working. But because he went to the orphanage, went to the North Pole, grew up around the elves and Papa Elf and all that stuff, his nature changed and he became, a sweeter, kinder person to then go and try and find his dad. And then his dad's kind of a grump, but he's able to kind of change him, which I don't think would have happened unless Buddy was out of the picture.
Yeah, it's interesting, but then his dad's life would have been completely different. Maybe he would have had to man up sooner, because there's such an age difference between him and the other
that's true.
kid, like 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Something. So maybe whatever. We're just could have still been that way, but then that is like a crappy life for Buddy.
Yeah.
And he might not have that same brother.
Right.
Every other thing happened at the same time. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I know it's just a movie though, but
well, hey,
whatever.
The important part is
that
everything worked out in the end. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Any final thoughts? Or I was trying to make that kind of the final thought. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't. I think I've said all I had thought to say.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing was just Buddy's demeanor, because it makes me feel like that's how I wish I was with everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Just not quite my personality all the time.
Yeah.
Like 5% of the time I feel like I'm like that. It's like with my own kid.
Yeah. Buddy's fun. We should all aspire to be more like Buddy.
I think that's why I feel like he's iconic,
Mm-hmm.
being one of the newer ones, because I think the other ones we've done, being Home Alone and the Santa Claus, were about 10 to 15 years older, that this was a newer one, but now it's getting kind of old.
Yeah, there isn't really a time where Buddy's like down. Like he gets kicked out of his, well, I guess there is. He's down because then he's walking through Central Park. But like, even when he gets sent to the mail room, like he makes friends with the guy that he drinks with, and yeah. So, I don't know. Always look on the Buddy side of life.
I think that's a good sentiment to end on.
Yeah. Always look at the Buddy side of life.
And then just to cue us off for next week's episode, it's going to be Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's that order,
I got
right?
some thoughts about that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
until next week.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your podcast. All right, goodbye.